So I do hope that everyone had a fantastic Christmas. In terms of the Championship football going on Boxing Day, it did not disappoint. We had some cracking games going on, and what we'll be doing in today's video is we'll be going through all the games that did go on over Boxing Day over the course of this video, discussing them throughout, and I'll also be giving you guys my predictions for what I think is going to happen going into this weekend. So Championship football is not slowing down at the moment. We've got a whole bunch of more games coming up, which I'm excited to get your guys' views on. So as always, they will be in the description down below so that you guys can go ahead and make your score predictions. And if you do manage to get any of them correct, your comment will be included next time. Before we do get into anything though, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, their link will be in the top line of the description down below. Really cool football app where you can go ahead and keep up to date with all the latest football and news from your club. It's a really handy app to have on match days where you can keep up to date with all the live scores. You can get live updates going there onto your phone. As the Championship is so topsy-turvy at the moment, you can keep up to date with all the hectic ongoings. As well as that, as the January transfer window is just around the corner, you can keep up to date with all the latest transfer news. So OneFootball, link in the description. And before we get into any of my score predictions, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct for the Boxing Day fixtures, then fair play to you guys. I got one correct this time, so not too bad going for me. Apologies if you did get one right and your comment wasn't included. There were just so many of them. And congratulations to Tommy Bird, who was the winner of the giveaway we were doing in the last video for a £20 gift voucher of your choice. So if you could leave either your Twitter or email in the comments down below, that would be greatly appreciated and I can sort you out. But without any further ado, let's get into talking about the action at the weekend. So starting things out, we got Birmingham going up against Leeds. Now we'll start out with Birmingham on Boxing Day. They drew 1-1 with Blackburn Rovers. To be honest, when I saw the team lineup going into that game, I wasn't filled with much confidence for Birmingham. With them on a bit of a dodgy run at the moment and Blackburn really solid, especially at home, I was fearing the worst for them, but they managed to pick up a point from that one, ending as a 1-1 draw, both goals being from the penalty spot in that game. And on the road, not the worst point in the world. They're going up against a Leeds side who faced my team Preston on Boxing Day. For the first half, Leeds were asleep pretty much. The first 30 minutes, they were absolutely awful. They were giving the ball away cheaply and just couldn't seem to click into gear. Pablo Hernandez really seemed to be a miss from that one, but in the second half, they no doubt clicked back up into gear. For the last 20 minutes, they were absolutely all over us. They were creating a lot more chances. Alioski had two fantastic chances before they eventually managed to equalise late on, and more from the lead. It was more of the leads that we expected to see, you know, create a lot of chances, high intensity, and they made up for that poor showing in the first half. Going away to Birmingham, who haven't been on the greatest run lately, you'd expect Leeds wanting to be getting back to winning ways before the new year does begin. I think I am probably edging towards them, although Birmingham do seem capable of raising their performance levels against teams at the top of the Championship. I'll go 2-1 Leeds. FIFA's going to go for a 0-0 draw. Next up, we then got Bristol City going up against Luton. Bristol City really don't find themselves on a good run of form over this festive period, with 4 back-to-back losses in the Championship now. Going up against this Luton side, it's actually interesting. Bristol City, only 4 sides have conceded more goals than Bristol City in the Championship so far this season. Defence has been a real issue for them, surprisingly, so far this year. But Luton are one of those sides who have conceded more. They were involved in just a baffling game on Boxing Day, a 3-3 draw with Fulham, where they were getting in some really good areas going forward. It was just defensively, again, was their undoing. The same can be said for Bristol City at the moment, who lost 3-2 on Boxing Day against Charlton Athletic. They got into a winning position in that game, but threw it away with Charlton coming back into it. You feel like it's a bit like Groundhog Day with Bristol City. This seems to happen to them every single season. I have seen quite a bit of criticism from the Bristol City fans directed at Lee Johnson at the moment, and I mean, Preston lately went on a similar run. We lost 4 games in the Championship and have managed to salvage things up back since then. But Bristol City at the moment, you feel like we're on a bit of a down spiral at the moment. This is a good opportunity to bounce back against the Luton side, who haven't been great away from home so far this season, but I fancy them to get a point on the road in this one. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-2 draw, with FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 Luton. Then we got Fulham going up against Stoke. Oh my word, both these sides involved in bonkers matches on Boxing Day. Fulham drawing 3-3 with Luton Town. Once again, the same fragilities could be seen at the back. Alfie Mawson is just dropping defensive disaster class after disaster class in the Championship at the moment. The first and third goals Fulham conceded in that game, embarrassing defending. But going forward, Bobby Reid is continuing his hot run of form. He got 2 goals in that game, including a last-minute equaliser. Going up against his Stoke side, who had a 3-2 home victory over Sheff Wednesday, have climbed off the bottom of the table and out of the bottom 3. You know, the race for the top 6 is exciting at the moment, but the race for survival at the bottom of the Championship is just as exciting, and it wasn't as if that was a smash and grab performance either. They were more than deserving of all 3 points, but 2 goals in injury time for Stoke won them that match, and they were looking so much better, and that performance came out of absolutely nowhere after some of the horror shows that they've been serving up lately. It was a really good complete team performance. There was a lot more spirit and fight about them. They were creating a lot more chances, had a lot of the ball and looked tidy in possession. For this game though, how's it going to pan out? I think it would be typical of the Championship for Stoke to just revert back to their old selves, really. I'm gonna say 2-1 Fulham. I think that Fulham at home may see them off, but saying that, Stoke, after their battling performance last time, may have something to say about that. I'll say 2-1 Fulham. FIFA saying 2-0 Fulham. We'll see if Stoke can continue where they left off last time. Next up, we got Huddersfield going up against Blackburn. I think both sides having fairly frustrating Boxing Days. Huddersfield, of course, losing to Middlesbrough. It's important when you are down at the bottom of the Championship to be winning those matches against teams around you. So obviously, Borough got the advantage in that game, but Huddersfield certainly had the chances to get back into it, and it has been a bit of a theme for Huddersfield so far this season to get into good goal scoring positions and then squander some golden opportunities. It was another example of that on Boxing Day. Blackburn, of course, held to a 1-1 draw at home against Birmingham. Another draw for them at Ewood Park. They looked a little bit sharper going forward for this one, but couldn't quite find that winning goal. The bad news for Blackburn has been that the injury to Bradley Dack that he picked up against Wigan Athletic on Monday night, it's now looking like he could be out for up to 12 months. So that is an absolutely devastating blow for Blackburn. Obviously, no one wants to see a player being that injured for that long, and especially a player of Dack's quality. How Blackburn get around that, I'm not so sure. But for a score prediction in this one, I see it heading towards a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1. Fever's back in Blackburn, but I don't think there'll be all too much in it between the two. Next, we got Millwall going up against Brentford. Millwall drawing 1-1 with Cardiff on Boxing Day. Jed Wallace scoring an absolute cracker of a free kick to level that one up. His 9th goal of the season in that game. But it's not going to be an easy game going up against Brentford in this one, and it's going to be a really fascinating battle, this one. Two quite contrasting styles going up against each other. Obviously, Millwall have been playing that back three lately and been doing so really effectively. They've only lost 2 games under the management of Gary Rowett so far. I think they've been going really well, actually. But this Brentford side has been absolutely blowing teams out the water with some of their performances. I mean, that front three has been so effective, and BMO got on the score sheet once again on Boxing Day. Ollie Watkins with 2 more goals, and obviously Ben Rama, as he always is very involved in the play. And Millwall's back three against that front three of Brentford, who are so fluid in their forward gears. That's going to be a really interesting battle. But with how consistent Millwall have been at home, especially as well, I think they'll make it tough for Brentford. They're very good at cancelling other teams out, and for this one, I think they may frustrate the away side. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that game, with FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 Millwall. Then we got Nottingham Forest going up against Wigan. Forest getting back to winning ways on Boxing Day with a 2-0 away victory at the Cakeham, and not an easy place to go to, so a good 3 points for them in that one. Lewis Graben scoring twice for that game, the first being from the penalty spot and the second being a really nice finish in at the near post. They're going up against a Wigan side who are now sat bottom of the Championship after a draw on Boxing Day against Derby County. Once again, they took the lead in that game. It was nice to see Joey Garner getting back on the score sheet, but Martin Waghorn levelling things up in the 93rd minute, and so far this season, Wigan have dropped 24 points from winning positions. Had they not done that, they'd currently be sat 3rd in the Championship, which is absolutely baffling. But Wigan at the moment have 0 mental strength or 0 composure inside the last 15 minutes of matches, and they continue to throw things away. The fans' relationship with Cook at the moment doesn't seem to be in a great position, and I'm not sure how much longer he's going to have left in the job if results continue to go down this way. Nottingham Forest at home have been a little bit inconsistent, and goal scoring at the City Ground has been a little bit hit and miss so far this season, but with Wigan's away record, you'd probably be fancying Forest to follow up from that impressive display on Boxing Day. So for this one, I'm going to go for a 1-0 home victory. I don't think there'll be all too many goals scored in that one. FIFA's going to go for a 0-0 draw. And then we got North End going up against Reading. Preston, obviously, on Boxing Day, having that draw against Leeds United. A bit gutting that we didn't hold on to that one, because I thought for the first half, Preston were absolutely terrific. Some of the football we were playing was absolutely fantastic. The goal we scored, absolutely brilliantly worked team goal. The brilliant tackle from Maguire, the pass from Pearson into Barkhuizen laying off Alan Brown, and then Alan Brown with that touch and finish into the bottom corner. We were absolutely fabulous, especially for that first 30 minutes. You know, we were playing Leeds around, and we could have had a couple more goals if we were that little bit more clinical. Going up against this Reading side who did beat QPR on Boxing Day. Fantastic goal scored by John Swift. His arrival back into the team has really made a difference for them lately, and has coincided with them picking up their form, obviously. I think it was Mark Bowen's first game in charge of Reading was against Preston in the reverse fixture earlier on in the season, and Reading did pop up with a last-minute winner in that one to beat us by 1-0. But looking at Preston and looking at our home record at the moment, we do have by far and large the best home record in the Championship, picking up 29 points at Deepdale so far this season. No other side has matched that point tally so far. And with the way we like to play, being very expansive, playing out from the back, hitting teams from wide areas, and then building things up through the middle, Reading will struggle with that defensively, but I think that they have looked a lot better lately. I don't think there'll be all too much in it, but I think I will back North End with our home record. I'll say 2-1 Preston. Obviously, it's nice to have Ben Davis back in the squad for us as well. FIFA's going to say 2-0 Reading. That should be an interesting game. Both sides are capable of playing some good football. Then we got QPR going against Hull on their day. Both can be fantastic sides going forward. On Boxing Day though, both were caught out on a bad day really. We spoke about it in our last prediction video that Grant McCann was giving the Hull players Christmas off. That seemed to have an effect on their performance, let's be real, because it was a bit bland, a bit sloppy, and they never really got out of first gear for that game against Forest. There wasn't quite that same attacking fluency that we've come to expect from Hull, especially playing at home lately. But going up against this QPR side, who do leave themselves a little bit open at the back, you'd have to feel like some of their attacking outlets would fancy their chances for this one. Talking about QPR and their game against Reading on Boxing Day, they ended up losing it by 1-0. John Swift scoring a fantastic goal, but how QPR didn't get a goal back in that second half, I have no idea. They had some absolutely glorious opportunities. They started the game out a little bit slow, but grew into it as it went on. And I mean, late on they were really pressing for that equaliser, but somehow nothing was ended up in the back of the net. They have missed some real gilt-edged chances lately, QPR, but I feel like both sides may get their attacking mojo back in this game. I fancy goals to be scored in it. I'm going to go 3-2 QPR. Thief's going to say 1-0 Hull. Could go either way. I see a few goals being scored in it. Next up, we got Sheff Wednesday going up against Cardiff. Sheff Wednesday having a really frustrating time on Boxing Day, losing away at Stoke City, and to be honest, it wasn't a great performance from Wednesday in that game. They were leading in the second half, but Stoke ended up turning it around, and Stoke probably were the better side from that one actually. But for Wednesday to have got themselves into that winning position, to throw it away so late on, you can't be going on and doing that really if you do really want to have that consistency and be finishing in the top 6 this season. They're going up against a Cardiff side who have been fairly consistent under new manager Neil Harris so far. They've only lost one match under his tenure. They had a 1-1 draw in Boxing Day with Millwall. This game, I don't think there'll be all too much in it. Wednesday, I'm not really sure what to expect from them in terms of a performance level in this one, whether they'll pick themselves back up or whether we'll see them being a little bit sloppy again. For a score prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. FIFA's going to agree with me for that one. Cardiff, I think, have been consistent on the road lately. They seem to be scoring more goals, and at the back are fairly organised. They'll make it difficult for Wednesday, who I'm not sure what side will turn up for them. And then we got Swansea going up against Barnsley. Swansea still just sat outside of the top 6. They did lose on Boxing Day 3-1 away at Brentford. For that game, Griffin Park was always going to be a tough place to go to. Brentford started out really well. Swansea did react in the second half. You got a goal back for them, and he continued his hot run of form, and they looked to try and press for the equaliser, but then Brentford did well on the counter-attack and killed off the game to make it 3-1. Barnsley at the moment, I have to say, are playing some brilliant football at the moment. They're unbeaten in their last 4 matches now. There's really not a lot in it at the bottom of the Championship, and they were well worth their point against West Brom. You know, they even could have gone on to win that game had they scored a little bit earlier, but West Brom took the lead in that game, but Barnsley had the majority of the play going forward and the better chance of that one. I think Barnsley had 22 shots to West Brom's 7 in that match, and that just goes to paint a picture of how much Barnsley were on top for large parts of that game. And like I said, they did equalise late on, but it wasn't just a smash and grab. They fully deserved that point in the end. And going away to Swansea, you got to say, I do feel like Barnsley could grab something from this game. Swansea do have a decent opportunity to get back to winning ways. They've got a couple of home games coming up now, which are both fairly winnable looking at Swansea's squad, but with how inconsistent Swansea can be, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that game. I think that Barnsley may push them all the way, with FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 Swansea. And then we got West Brom going up against Middlesbrough. Like we were just speaking about West Brom then involved in the Bansley match. Not their greatest performance of the season so far. Once again, missing Diane Garner. I believe that they've not won a match so far this season without Diane Garner. So he's obviously proving to be quite the miss for them at the moment. I think that reading Bilic's comments, he could be back for this Borough game on Sunday, but it's looking unlikely that that will be the case. Middlesbrough lately seem to have been growing in confidence. Only one loss in their last 5 matches. Have been able to secure a little bit of breathing space between themselves and the bottom 3. A massive win on Boxing Day, beating Huddersfield by 1-0. And the good thing about Middlesbrough so far this season is obviously finding themselves in the situation that they have done. Jonathan Woolgate's sort of been forced to give quite a lot of young players some chances and experience, and that has been coming up and turned out to be a good thing for them in some circumstances. You know, we saw Spence coming up with a winner on Boxing Day, only 19 years old, and it's nice to see Middlesbrough giving those young players chances. But you feel like if West Brom do manage to click into gear, they should have enough to beat this Middlesbrough side, but with how they're going at the moment, Middlesbrough may be able to forge a point away from home. I'm going to say 2-0 West Brom. I'm going to play it safe. Thief is going to say 0-0. I'd fancy West Brom to get back to winning ways, but they are faltering a little bit at the moment, but that's expected in the Championship. And then for our last game taking place on Monday, we see Derby going up against Charlton. Charlton did climb above Derby in the league table after finally getting back to winning ways, beating Bristol City by 3-2 on Boxing Day. Really important victory for Charlton considering their recent run. They came from behind to win that match as well. well. Macaulay Bonne getting 2 goals in that game, him getting back on the score sheet. This Derby side at the moment, I really am struggling to find much positivity about it. Obviously, they did get back into the game against Wigan, but it was another really bland performance. Obviously, Martin Wycombe popping up with the late equaliser in that game. But if you were to ask me about pretty much any side in the Championship, I think I could tell you their style of play, a couple of decent points about them, and what I'd expect from them game to game. With Derby at the moment, I really don't know much to say about them, because watching the performances week in, week out, I'm not really too sure what they're trying to do. The January transfer window will be very interesting for them. I've heard a couple of rumours that Jack Marriott could be going out on loan, so who they intend to bring in, I'm not so sure. Obviously, they do have Wayne Rooney coming in. Interesting to see what effect he has on the squad. But for a prediction for this game, I think that Charlton, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think that Charlton will follow up their victory with a point away from home in this one. FIFA's going to agree with me. I'm struggling for Derby at the moment. It's been a weird season for them. But guys, there you have it. There are my Championship score predictions for what I think is going to happen in the Sunday game. So leave all your score predictions in the comments down below, as well as what you made of your team's performance on Boxing Day. In terms of my result of Boxing Day, I think I'm going to have to give that to Stoke City for their dramatic 3-2 home victory over Sheff Wednesday. Then for the best goal, this is a tough one. We had John Swift scoring an absolute belter, Jed Wallace scoring a belter, Preston's team goal against Leeds. For an individual goal, I'd probably give it to Jed Wallace because it was an absolute banger of a free kick, but I'm a bit of a sucker for a team goal, and that one against Leeds for Preston was it was decent. But like I said, that will now wrap it up for today's video, guys. So if you're going to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Make sure you do subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content. But apart from that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.